Hello, sisters. Welcome to the season two of the Rising Feminine Online Temple, which is a 7 days initiation for women to journey back to their true essence. My name is Jonita D'Souza, your feminine lifestylist, and I'm also the keeper of this online temple space where I have gathered leading visionaries from around the world to join forces and initiate you in your authentic feminine. And a big part of my work as a feminine lifestylist is to invite women to indulge into everyday, simple, small rituals and do intentional acts so that they feel nurtured, nourished, and fulfilled in their daily busy lifestyle. So, as part of this online temple space, I invite you to create a sacred container, give yourself the time, maybe light a candle, grab your journal, but really give yourself the time to receive the offerings of this online temple space because each of the teacher have a very special message for you. Joining us today is Valentina Sinclair, and we will be talking about empowering your business with feminine intuitions. It's going to be a really juicy conversation. And before we begin and welcome Jo, I want to read a little bit about Jo to you so that you get an idea of her sacred work in this lifetime. Jo is a feminine abundance and business coach and helps soul purpose women in business create a new money story, build intentional abundance, design irresistible packages, and align their first class feminine fortune online. She is a trained life coach, NLP practitioner with a background in marketing spanning over 20 years. After becoming disillusioned with her 10 corporate career with BBC in editorial strategy, Jo resigned to set up her own coaching business now, empowering other women to follow their heart and create their dream businesses online. She's all about helping women become the hero of their own story so that they can manifest the life they truly desire on the inside and out. Jo is also passionate about helping women create an authentic, stylish business on their own terms, in their own fabulous and feminine way. Welcome, Jo.
Oh, welcome. I didn't realize I gave you so much. It's so lovely to speak to you.
Yes, and it's so lovely to have you speaking specifically about business and the feminine, a topic which has been kind of non-existent in this paradigm, and so much is shifting at this time when women are, realizing their potential to start the businesses. So it's the best time ever, and I'm so glad you will be talking on that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do feel that, at the moment, there is definitely this feminine rising. I loved the title of your Tele Summit, and it just comes at a really fantastic time because I think it's a powerful time for women. I think that our energy is powerful, and, it needs to be celebrated. And I think, it can be celebrated within the business as well, and business doesn't always have to be about hard work and long hours. It can, or you can grow and build your business and structure your business in a feminine way with your feminine energy and your feminine power. And that's what I introduce with my coaching with my clients. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this topic.
Awesome. So before we began this call, I did a small meditation just to tune into our energies and see what we were bringing forth. And as part of this online temple, I pulled up a goddess oracle card that I want to share with you.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's Goddess Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion. I'm sure you must be familiar with this goddess.
Oh,
Compassion.
Yes. I release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the light that is in within. That is so me. That is the perfect card. I can't think of a card that expresses me better, actually.
Wow. And I was really happy to see this card because compassion is something I feel that we women lack for ourselves, especially when we begin our businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if this goddess in this moment resonates with you.
Absolutely, actually, because A lot of the work that I do, and a lot of the writing that I do as well around business and working with women, is around self-worth. And, when I first started my business, being an NLP practitioner and being a mindset coach, the mind pieces were always going to be a big part of building the foundation for your business. And it still is when I work with women. But what I'm finding more and more is that there really is this area around self-worth, which has a huge effect on the rest of your business. So in terms of, how you connect with your clients, attracting clients, how you are pricing your packages, and, whether you're creating premium packages, whether you feel that you're good enough to be charging the price that you want to charge, and, showing up with visibility on social media as well. And I'm finding that a lot of women can be really tough on themselves, really not give themselves permission to shine and to own their gifts, to share their message in the authentic way that they know that they're put here to do. I mean, as you said before, I work with a lot of soul purpose women, and they are so passionate about what they do. And a lot of women have been building their business, perhaps, as a hobby for quite a while, like undercharging, or doing a lot of work for free or very minimal money. And so the whole reason why I wanted to set up this soul purpose business coaching service was to help women that know they have a gift, they have the expertise, the knowledge, the experience, the passion, but they've just been struggling with tying up the business pieces. And it's to help them get the clarity and the confidence for them to package up their brilliance. That's a big term of mine, because I feel that's what it is, so that they can create premium packages that really create transformation for their clients, and also transformation in their own personal growth. So going back to, the area of compassion and judgment, and self-worth, I find that those areas are really key areas that I think women need a little bit of help and support with sometimes. Because if you're building a business by yourself, you're at home, we can get lost in our thoughts. And it's good to have someone who can reflect and, kind of pull yourself out of yourself as well, instead of getting absorbed in thoughts that may not really be serving you. So I feel that, compassion for yourself is something that it's an ongoing process, isn't it, really?
It is. It's an ongoing, and it's a never-ending process.
But it's just so important, isn't it? Important. And I guess, one of the biggest lessons, maybe you've felt this for yourself, but when you actually do give yourself more compassion, your business tends to grow a little bit further. You step into or out of a comfort zone, and you stretch a little bit more. So it's something that I always try and check in with, because, like I say, sometimes as women we can be hard on ourselves.
Yeah, that's how we have been conditioned.
Yeah.
So Jo, for the women watching, we would like to know, how did you begin this sacred work? What led you to start doing soul purpose or soul-led coaching business for the men?
Well, my background is working in the corporate sector. So I used to work for the BBC, and I've worked for the media all of my life. And as you can imagine, it's a completely different sector. It's very masculine. It's very alpha. And I'm not just talking about the men being masculine, the women as well. It's very fast paced. It's very competitive. And, after 20 years of working in that environment, I just found that my values and my beliefs changed. And who I was when I was, 20, 25, working for that industry completely changed. And, I've always had a big love of personal development. and I've always been spiritually aware. And so that was always outside of the corporate environment. And I just got to the point where, you know, my late 30s, I just realized that I like working with people, you know, more on a one-to-one basis. You know, I prefer that kind of energy. I prefer that kind of experience, that kind of communication. And I started to get interested in coaching. So, you know, a few years ago, I decided that after being really unfulfilled in the corporate sector, and really feeling this calling to follow my heart, explore coaching, set up my own business, I just decided that I was going to resign from my job, set up this business, and really create a service that helps as many sole purpose women create their own business as well. I think there's a rising for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I can speak of my experience of starting my coaching business, which was very masculine based as well. I had joined, I got my certification and all of those things. And I was given a set of instructions. This is how you need to do, and this is how you need to work, and you need to network, and you need to go and sell, and you need to attend these X numbers of networking events and X number of free events, and to show your face everywhere.
Push, isn't it?
Yeah, your elevator page and all of that. Yes, all of that was really important, and it helped me to stretch my comfort zones.
Yeah.
But I just hated it after a year. I hated the very fact that I was doing that, and I wasn't meant. I'm not that character. I'm a very introverted person. So for me, I realized that I was not showing my true self, like you call the brilliance. So I was just going into what was given as a set of instructions for everyone to follow through.
Yeah.
It was only after I burnt out again about getting my coaching business is when I realized, hold on, I'm just going to do it my way. I don't want to be, I didn't want to be speaking in front of 50 people every second day.
Yeah.
Finding a speaking opportunity or something. I like doing circles, and I like, small groups and intimate connections in intimate topics and conversations.
Yeah, it's the depth.
Yeah, and I like that, and I couldn't feel that from the stage. And when I started doing what I liked, that's when my coaching business really started to grow and flourish. And I realized that, okay, now I'm bringing myself into it.
Yeah,
that's what you do. From your work, I know you help people create their own story.
Yeah, and that was why I came up with the title of the business, create your own story, because a lot of the work that I do as a mindset coach as well as a business coach is working with women on their limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs are just stories that we tell ourselves, that aren't true. They normally do not have any evidence to support them. They're just stories that we've created either from society or friends or other people, and we just continue to tell ourselves this story because it kind of keeps us in a bit of a comfort zone, when we're scared, when we're fearful, we resort to these stories. So that whole part of helping women to break free of their limiting beliefs, create a new story for themselves, a new money story, a new self-worth story, a new confidence story, and to really build a business from the inside out. So that's creating a new set of values and beliefs that are in alignment with who they are, and using that as the bedrock to the foundation of their business. And like yourself, when I first started my business, a lot of the coaching that was out there, it was really just very structured. Do you know what I mean? It was just
very rigid,
and it didn't really even bring into the forefront anything about the mindset piece or the personal development piece or who you are. It just, even still, you'll still see some coaches that completely bypass that. I've been in some coaching programs and I'm just like, oh, but I still just don't know who I am. Is that not important? And I
Yeah.
think it's so important, you know, when you're a personal brand, when you're the forefront of your business and you're connecting and you want to connect with soul clients, you know, on a deeper level, then to really have brought out of you, you know, who you are and, you know, your gifts and your talents, and to be able to create content which is from the heart. I think that's just so powerful, and that's the part of the job that I love, and I've been able to draw in soul clients like that, and you can see the transformation in them. Because, you know, to have someone listen to you and actually get you and draw out everything from you so that you can step into a higher version of yourself, and to pass that on to other people, and then they create transformation in their clients' lives. I believe that's what life is about, and that's what lights me up. And, you know, that's why I love connecting to ladies like yourself. And, you know, I'm starting to find more and more, and I just find that this space is really sacred. You know, it's a word that I would use. And to tap into that area of feminine energy, you know, some of the new clients that I've been working with, it's been new to them, and they've really embraced it, because no one else is really talking about feminine business structures. I wouldn't say no one else, sorry, disclaimer.
Many.
But, you know, even some women may not want to own it, or it may not be important to them. So it's just finding that niche of women that, you know, are like-minded, and being a support network. You know, it's community, it's not competition, and we can all help each other to rise.
Exactly. I remember a time where I was building up my business, and I said to my coach at that time that I want to talk about desires. And I want to go deeper into desires. And I remember him saying that, no, that sounds too sexual. We need to do something. And I was like, okay, he's not going to be my coach from now on. And he was my coach for I think he was my coach for 2 years. In the beginning, it helped me do a lot of emotional work and stuff, which was all good. But then I realized how important it is to find a coach who actually understands you.
Absolutely.
And who understands the work that you do as well.
Absolutely.
Because I found it challenging, and it was really funny because and I was talking about you know, feminine and the flow, and he was like, sounds like menstruation ad or something, and I was like, no, that's it, you're done. And
yeah, and it can be hard, can't it? Because, you know, when you're trying to find your voice, find your message, create your brand positioning, and these are the things that are coming up for you, and you're already questioning whether you can use that or not. You know, if you have a coach who because they don't get it, kind of stifle, you know, what you are. I mean, your brand essentially is you. It is your values and your beliefs. So it's so funny that you mentioned that, actually, because it's something that I dig quite deep into with my clients. You know, if they're doing work that I am not familiar with, you know, they can be so absorbed into what they do, especially, you know, if they're in the area of an expertise. For example, I'm working with a lady who works with kids who have autism. And, you know, we've really gone into, in quite depth, you know, how she works with them, what kind of programs, and, you know, the different styles and the different approaches. And it's a process of unraveling that so that she really can find her niche within a huge area, and to find her voice. And I think that it's a skill. It is a skill, and it is great if you can find a coach who can work with you to do that, because it may not just be unraveled in one session. It may be a continuous process, and you have to be interested in that in the first place and allow people to shine.
Absolutely. So when you talk about feminine intuition, what is that? What do you mean by that? Would you tell the women watching, please?
Yeah, so funny enough, I've done a couple of tele summits now, and when people have found me, I think they are tapping into an intuition that, I'm either giving off in my messaging, or, the fact that I'm into it, because I did another one recently, which was a talk on flow and resistance. And so when I talk about feminine intuition, it kind of links that into it as well. So for anyone who's working from home, and you're at your computer a lot, and we all work long hours, well, not long hours, but we know that we're going to be at our computer and doing a lot of the stuff, if it's an online based business. And it's really about tapping into the pockets of time when you're at your peak states, and not being so hard on yourself, giving yourself permission to create from a powerful state. If you're creating content, do it when you're at the best time of the day that suits you, rather than punishing yourself and saying, no, it's 12 o'clock at night, I have to get this finished. And it's really just taking care of your time, taking care of your energy, and taking care of your vibration as well. And I think this is such an important part for women, which is, sometimes we can all get into maybe a lower vibrational state, but it's knowing how to pick yourself back up out of it and get out of resistance, that you get back into the vibration of flow and ease. And I think that's the kind of intuition that I'm talking about, really trusting your inner knowing and connecting back to your purpose, the truth of why you're doing your business, why you started your business, the purpose of it, and the message that you want to share. Sometimes we can be so distracted by other people's businesses or what we're seeing online, and when that gets into overload, it's time to just step away and reconnect and go back inside.
Exactly. So I know this. We can sometimes forget the time and be stuck to the laptop, and then and I have found myself guilty of that as well. It's a nice day outside, and I wanted to go out and enjoy the nice day because it's such a rare sight in London. And here it is, you're stuck with the laptop, and you realize, oh no, the sun's gone.
Yeah, it's very easy to do, but I think it's being kinder to yourself. It's having a different conversation with yourself, and actually deciding to be more loving, having a more loving relationship. And just, if you want to step away from the computer for a couple of hours, go to a park or come back to it, or maybe take a day off. We kind of get into this regimented thinking that we still have to do the 9 to 5 days a week. You can choose to tap into your energy state. If you want to have a Wednesday off and maybe work on a Sunday, which is a more low level energy day, then you can do that. It's just really about feeling into and energetically what works for you, and just giving yourself permission to know and be trusted and guided, that you always have the answers. You have all the power within you, and you're on the path. So it's just to really, it's almost like giving yourself like a little hug.
Every day.
Every day, yeah.
So for the women watching, what can you suggest about some real practical, tangible steps that they can take to hone their feminine intuition, to tap into this space of their inner knowing, so that they can be so productive and connected to their soul's purpose?
Yeah, so I wrote down a few notes here, so I hope it's okay if I look down a couple of times, but it's a small little process that I have, and it's for women who do find themselves getting into a low vibrational state sometimes, which can then trigger feelings of, low self-worth again, maybe I'm not good enough, I didn't get something finished. So it's just a little process that you can use if you're finding that you are, if your energy is dipping. So the first step is to stop. I know it sounds really silly, but it's just, if you're feeling that you're in this kind of bad mood, starting to feel a bit irritated, if you're starting to feel like you're pushing too hard, a little bit frustrated, stressed out, really tired, then sometimes it's time to just stop and to recalibrate. And really taking notice of the state that you're in and just deciding that you are going to pivot. I know it's an exercise that Abraham Hicks uses as well. And it's just about choosing to think a better thought, feel a better way, and to go in a different direction. So that might be taking some time out of social media, moving away from Facebook, even if it's getting away from your computer, outside of your environment. It's just moving you away from that energy of resistance. So the next step then would be to, as I've mentioned before, it's to tap back into the truth of the situation. Just go back to the center. What are you doing? What is the business that you are creating? What is it that excites you? And what is the purpose? What is your true purpose? And it's connected to that feeling and activating that again, and just knowing that, we are all God's gift, and we are here to share the gift that we've been given. And it's just to get grounded again. And as I say, the card that you pulled out before about compassion, it's just going back to, what really is the truth of the situation, of your business, of who you are and why we're all here, and connecting to that. And the last element that I've got here is, just like really learning to trust your sixth sense. So if you're tapping into your third eye, or you're aware of that type of feeling, it's just trusting that energy and trusting that knowing as well.
Wow, yes. And it is so powerful. I know when you say, like, move out of what you're doing and focus on something else. Yeah. Because it just breaks the pattern right away, isn't it? And that's what you're suggesting. Otherwise, we can just, start pushing and pushing. And I know that sometimes when you push, then you have to keep pushing on and on to get the tiniest thing done.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about reframing your thoughts and, moving in a different direction, and a pattern interrupt as well, completely.
This is really interesting. For the women watching, what are some of the ways that you practice to cultivate your feminine intuition?
I'm quite a visual person. So even though I really appreciate the masculine, side of business, and, there's always the balance of the masculine and the feminine, I do have a to-do list, and there are certain activities that I do every single day. And I do like structure as well. But I like to be a little bit playful and bring that into my business, and use that kind of playful intuition. And I think that works really well when it comes to creating content, and creating content that is from the heart and actually still feels soulful and in line with your own message. So sometimes I like to create a lot of vision boards. If I'm feeling a little bit off center, I will use a PowerPoint and create some vision boards, and use them to tap into the way that I want to feel, or the things I the goals that I'm thinking of. And that is really, really powerful to just creating a different energy state and energetically moving you forward. And just doing things that you enjoy and allowing yourself to it. It's literally, I think sometimes just giving yourself a break, being kinder to yourself and saying, no, I'm going to stop pushing it. It's okay. It works for me.
Exactly. And I know with my work with women as well, allowing is such a big deal. Allowing themselves to experience, a pause is such a big thing for us women of this busy modern day lifestyle. We sometimes think that if we stop, then we'll be either too behind or we'll have too much to do to catch up.
Yeah. I mean, I've even said as well to a couple of clients, you can even see it as an income producing activity, because when you're pushing yourself to create content or get things done, you can make mistakes, you're not producing things in your power, and you're more effective when you've had a recharge, so just taking that time out to be kind to yourself and do some mantras or look at affirmations, whatever's going to get you back into that positive energy is going to be much more beneficial to the bottom line.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom here and sharing your presence with the women watching. And again, being a voice for women in business, this is so important. This is so important for us in this rising feminine online temple space too.
The women are indeed rising.
Indeed. So I am asking this question to every single speaker in this online temple space. And I would like to ask you too, is what do you mean by rising feminine in this time and age?
It's a really good question. And I was thinking about this earlier. And for me, I really feel that it's a time for women to give themselves permission. It's give themselves permission to own their voice, to own their inner power, to own their experience, their gifts, to allow themselves to show up and actually take a seat in the world, claim your seat and feel confident in knowing that you will have a legacy to leave behind and that you are actually following your true purpose. In the workshops that I do, and in a lot of the blogs or anything that I write, I think it always comes back to purpose. I think that's how I see feminine rising. Every woman rising up to claim her purpose and to claim her inner power. It's powerful. We are.
We are indeed. Thank you so much, Jo, once again for your time and presence here.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.